Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Tone Alabi, and if you are joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're a returning visitor, thank you as well. Your viewership means a lot to me. Um, One of my interests is sharing some of my experiences of living in Australia. I moved to Australia about 16, 17 years ago as a student, and now I'm a citizen of Australia where I work and have a family. But my experience has been very full of lots of ups and downs, lots of wins and losses, like a lot of other people. Um, and I do think that I should use this platform to share some of those experiences, and maybe it will help one or two people that are viewing this channel, especially for people that are thinking of relocating or have just recently relocated as well. Um, Part of my interest is also writing and blogging about some of my experiences. I have a blog, which, if you would be interested in knowing more about my experiences and some insights into moving, I will link my blog to the description below. So let's start off by answering one of the very common questions, which is what are the easiest pathways to moving abroad? So maybe you have made up your mind that the environment you're in is not one that you want to stay in any longer. Sometimes people decide to move as a result of necessity. You know, you might have stayed in a place, or you lived in a place, or you were born in a country where you feel it's not just working out for you anymore. And you are thinking about moving somewhere where you think that you will fare better. And I think a lot of us have moved for those reasons, or have decided to stay where we are for those reasons. So let's look into some of the pathways for relocation. Okay, there's employment, there's skilled worker visas that are offered by a lot of countries in the West. Okay, there's study visa, which is one of the more popular routes to relocating. And the reason why a lot of people think it's a better route to relocation is because it affords you the opportunity to develop yourself while you're also able to work and look for a job. But not just that, with the study visa, instead of coming as a visitor, you get the right to work in the country you're in and sustain yourself and your family. You also might have, depending on the country that you're in, you might have the opportunity via the study visa to stay on and apply for permanent residency. Now, a lot of countries have this pathway, but how you get to from point A to point B varies country by country. There's also the volunteering and cultural exchange visa, which I don't know if many people know about it, and it also varies country to country as well. There's the retirement visa for people. You might be watching me and you're maybe like in your 50s or 60s, and you're also thinking of making a change, and that's a possibility as well. And so there are countries that offer retirement visas for older people. So think about where you're at in your life and what visas are available to you in the countries that are offering these visas. One thing that you need to do, moving is, especially if you're moving to live in a country in the long term, moving is a big deal. It takes a lot of, it can be very overwhelming. And it should be something that you need to think about very carefully. It's not a decision that should be made lightly. Um, Moving can be very expensive as well. So one thing that you will need to do is also do your due diligence, do enough research to know where you should be moving to. Because one thing you don't want to do is move to a country, and save all the money, invest, like, just give away so many of your things, um, sacrifice so much, just to move to a country that you end up either not liking for one reason or the other, or you find that you're just finding it hard to either um, adapt in terms of looking for work, or adapt to the social life there, or something is just not working out well for you. It might mean that you have not done enough research on the place you're moving to. Now, it's very important that you do that. So, I will say, going back to the question of pathways, how I personally moved was through a study visa. I came to Australia through a student visa, and I had my reasons for choosing Australia. And in my previous videos below, if you check my previous videos, I did go through some of the reasons that I decided to move to Australia. Um, so how do you survive the first few months and years when you move to a new country. Start by evaluating your skill sets right now. While you're still in your home country or wherever you are, do an evaluation of the skills that you presently have. This is very important because regardless of if you're moving there because you want to move as a skilled worker or you're moving as a student, wherever you're moving to, you'll need to sustain yourself financially. You'll have to make ends meet one way or the other. So evaluating your skill sets will help you to know um, if you might need to refresh your skills, if you might need to learn new skills um, in order to be able to make a living where you're moving to. We live now in a world where it's easy actually. You don't have to really wait for a 9 to 5 paid employment before you start making money. And that's one of the advantages that you might have over me when I was moving to Australia, like decades ago. Okay, over a decade ago anyway. Because now you have so many avenues to create income for yourself. For instance, there's a creative income streams like what I'm doing right now, which is vlogging. Lots of people are vlogging or blogging, which I do the two of. I have a blog and I have the YouTube channel as well. And you can monetize a lot of these platforms and make money for yourself that way. Freelancers as well. So what skills do you have? Are you someone that's really good at coding, for instance, or programming or data entry? Or do you need to refine or polish your skills so that you know that you can fall on that when you move and start making money from that? There's so many platforms nowadays where you can freelance, like Fiverr, um, Upscale as well. There are a host of platforms that you can use to showcase your skills and make money. There's also the gig economy, of course, with Uber services. You can become a delivery driver, a courier service, courier driver, um, and just tap into things like that. If you are good at driving, for instance, or if you think that you might want to do delivery while you settle into the new country, try and brush up on your driving skills as well, if possible. Um, there's also for people that are artisans and good with just arts and crafts. Are you good at drawing? Are you good at making things, beautiful things? Are you good at crocheting? For instance, I do crochet on the side because it's one of my passions. It's one of the things that I love to do while I have some free time. So I crochet sometimes and like things like this, different items that I do, different things that I make. And I sell them on eBay and Etsy, and you can even open up your own create your own website and sell products or services that you are able to offer. So these are things that you can realistically think about that you can do when you're trying to settle into a new country. Because I'm telling you now that sometimes you might think that, oh, I can quickly get a job once I relocate, once I move, I'll just quickly get a job. It doesn't happen like that for a lot of us. The experience has been that we have to try and it takes a few knockbacks before you get a yes when it comes to getting paid employment. Unless you're coming already with a job offer, which obviously, if that's the case, kudos to you. Well done. You've made it. You don't have to worry about any of all these things. Although you can always still use this things that I have just mentioned as a side hustle, um, and make some extra income, revenue, income stream from there. So with studying, there are lots of people that I know, and lots of people that I have come across that are so focused on few destinations for study. And I was just having a look around and saying, where could one, besides America or UK or the obvious places that people go to, like Canada, where else can one actually relocate to? And there's so many countries that you'll probably not have even considered. Like Brazil, for instance, offers tuition-free education for even international students. The only thing, though, is that you'll need to be able to speak in Portuguese, which is their own language. And there are other countries as well, even though they're non-speaking countries, some of them also offer studies in English. For instance, with Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Germany, I know some of those universities and colleges do offer specific courses in English. And the tuition is way cheaper than if you were to go to Canada or even Australia or UK to do your studies. So try and look into those countries as well. And you might think, how do I learn this language? But you can do it right from now. There are lots of platforms and sites like Duolingo and Babbel and other sites that are language learning sites. And if you are committed to it, you might surprise yourself and find that some of these languages are actually easier to learn than you think. And by the time you move to that country and get fully immersed in the culture and the language, you'll realize that you're picking up on the language just like that. So be open-minded, be adaptable as well, because you might be focused on, I want to go to Canada, I want to relocate to Canada, but somehow maybe you are not given the visa, or somehow when you've done your research, you realize it's not quite for you. And some of the other countries that I just mentioned might actually be a better fit for you. So what I'm trying to say is do your due diligence, do your research. Um, Another way to get a visa, and this is more of a short-term visa, is the cultural exchange or volunteering visas. Um, and I only recently learned about this organization called WOLF. So WOLF stands for Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms. And it's new to me because I didn't really know about it until now, until recently. It is an exchange program. It's not an exchange program, but it's a cultural exchange program basically. And there are a number of countries that are involved, including Australia. And it gives people the opportunity to learn about organic agriculture. So it's not a paid employment in that sense, but you receive educational opportunities and meals and accommodations during your time there. So you stay on the farm and you help out and you experience a new culture whilst doing all this. I'll put their link as well in the description box. So these are things that you can look into as ways of moving or ways of experiencing a new country or being in a new country as well. Of course, you'll have to look at what you can realistically, where you can realistically go and what you can realistically offer as well. Look at the skills that you have now. Do you need to bridge the gap? Is there a gap in your skills that you need to bridge? Do you need to do some more learning even while you are trying to relocate? If that's the case as well, explore platforms that offer free learning, or maybe even just they might have some subscription services or subscription fees involved. But I know of some platforms that offer free learning, and they have different courses as well on their platforms. An example of this is Allison website that has various courses that they offer for free. And this will help you to develop your skills. It's something that you can also add to your resume and become more appealing to recruiters and employers. Also, LinkedIn Learning is also a good one, a place to go. If you don't have a LinkedIn account, I would advise you to do so. Um, and just start building connections, start building your network of connections. Because we're traveling as well, before you travel as well, it's good to start making um, connections, because you'll need them at some point in your life as well, with character references, with referrals, and things like that. So start developing yourself right now. And I will say that it's never too late to start learning something new. And developing yourself can never be a waste of your time as well, whether or not you decide to stay where you are or you decide to relocate. So if you have any questions, or if you want to share your own experiences, if you have found yourself already relocated, what has been your experience? How did you get there? What did you have to do? Please share with us. We'd like to know. If you have any questions as well that you want me to answer, particularly about Australia, let me know as well. I would like to once again say that I have a blog and I share my experiences on my own life and how things were and what I had to do in order to get a job. And I also share a lot of tips and information on how to successfully relocate and how to successfully settle if you found yourself in a new country. If you like this video, please share, pass it along, leave a comment. We always love to hear from you. And don't be afraid to leave a comment, as long as it's a respectful one, or your insights or experiences. Maybe there's something, another pathway that I may not have mentioned in this video. If you'd like to share with us, we'd love to hear from you as well. Okay, that's it from me for now, and hope to see you in the next one. As always, stay safe and thank you for watching. Bye.